Have you ever looked at your life and realized that the harder you work, the less you actually seem to own? In this year of 2026, it feels like we are all running on a high-speed treadmill that just keeps getting faster, while our legs are getting heavier. We earn a decent living, we follow the rules, and yet we watch our bank accounts hover at the same frustrating number month after month. It is like we are standing in financial quicksand. And every time we try to reach for something to pull ourselves out, we realize it was just another heavy object pulling us deeper. I have spent a long time thinking about why so many of us feel this way, especially those of us who have already put in decades of hard work. We were told that if we worked hard and played by the rules, we would eventually find a sense of peace and security. But for many, that peace feels further away now than it did 20 years ago. The truth is that our modern world is designed to keep us in a state of constant wanting. It is a system built on the idea that your value as a human being is measured by what you consume, rather than who you are or what you have built. But today, something is changing. There is a quiet movement growing among people who are tired of being treated like walking wallets for major corporations. It is what I call the Buy Nothing Rebellion. And it is the most powerful thing you can do to protect your future in this unpredictable economy. This is not about being cheap or living a life of deprivation. This is about wisdom and reclaiming your power from a system that wants to keep you dependent. It is about realizing that every dollar you do not spend on something you do not need is a dollar that buys you another hour of freedom in the future. Let us talk about the 5 categories of purchases that are quietly destroying the financial peace of families across the country. The first and most dangerous category is the trap of the monthly car payment. Right now, in 2026, the average price of a new car has climbed to nearly $50,000. Think about that number for a moment. $50,000 for a machine that starts losing value the very second you drive it away from the dealership. In the first year alone, that car will lose about 20% of its worth. That is $10,000 of your hard-earned money vanishing into thin air, while you are sitting in traffic. Dealerships do not want you to think about the total cost, because $50,000 sounds like a mountain of debt. Instead, they want you to focus on the monthly payment. They tell you it is only $650 a month, as if that is just a minor subscription fee for your life. But $650 a month is nearly $8,000 a year. I still drive a 2007 Toyota Camry, and I am proud of it. It does not have the newest touchscreen or the fancy leather seats that heat up when it is cold. But you know what it does have? It has the smell of freedom because I do not owe a single penny to a bank for it. When I see people driving $80,000 trucks that they will be paying off for the next 7 years, I do not feel envy. I feel a deep sense of sadness because I know they are trading years of their life for a piece of metal that is rusting every single day. Ownership used to mean you actually owned the things you used. Today, most people are just renting their lifestyle from the bank at a very high interest rate. The second category we need to talk about is the trap of status symbols. We live in a culture that is obsessed with looking wealthy rather than actually being wealthy. We see people drowning in debt while wearing $300 sneakers and carrying $2,000 handbags. They are wearing designer clothes to jobs they hate so they can afford more designer clothes they do not need. It is a cycle of external validation that has no finish line. The more you buy to impress people, the more you realize that the people you are trying to impress are too busy trying to impress you. Truly wealthy people often look completely ordinary when you pass them on the street. They do not need a logo on their chest to tell the world they are successful. Their success is sitting in their investment accounts and their lack of stress. They understand that status does not pay the mortgage, and it certainly does not fund a comfortable retirement. When you stop buying things for the sake of appearances, a weight lifts off your shoulders. You no longer care if your neighbor has a newer watch or a bigger television. You start to realize that the only person you need to prove anything to is the person looking back at you in the mirror. The third category is one that hits close to home for many families, and that is luxury vacations funded by debt. We all need a break, especially after the stress of the last few years. We want to create memories with our children and grandchildren, and we want to see the world. But if you are putting a $5,000 trip on a credit card with 25% interest, you are not buying a vacation. You are buying a financial hangover that will last for months or even years. The peace you find on a beach is quickly erased by the panic you feel when the credit card statement arrives in the mail. I have found that the most meaningful memories rarely come from the most expensive places. They come from the time we spend truly present with the people we love. A weekend trip to a local state park can be more rejuvenating than a week in Europe if it does not come with the burden of debt. Real self-care is not a five-star hotel. It is the peace of mind that comes from knowing you are financially secure. The fourth category is the upgrade trap, and it is everywhere in 2026. Our phones, our laptops, and even our kitchen appliances are now designed to feel old within a few short years. It is called planned obsolescence, and it is a multi-billion-dollar strategy to keep you spending. The marketing departments are masters at making you feel like your perfectly functional phone is suddenly inadequate. They tell you that you need a better camera or a faster processor. But for most of us, these are bells and whistles we will never use. I refuse to play that game anymore. I will use my current technology until it literally stops working. I do not need to have the same shade of blue as everyone else just to feel like I am keeping up with the times. Every time you skip an unnecessary upgrade, you are winning a small battle against the consumer culture. You are proving that you are the one in control of your choices, not some executive in a boardroom. The fifth and final category is what I call the lazy tax, specifically food delivery apps. In the last few years, we have become a society that treats getting a meal like an emergency. We pay double the price for a burger, just so we do not have to drive 3 miles to pick it up ourselves. We pay delivery fees, service charges, and tips that add up to hundreds of dollars every month. But it is more than just the money. It is the erosion of our basic life skills. We are losing the habit of preparing our own food and the discipline of planning our days. No antaña is not just cheaper. It is a way to reclaim your health and your connection to what you consume. When you stop letting apps decide what you eat, you start paying attention to the value of your time and your resources. So, what happens when you decide to join this rebellion? The first month is the hardest because your brain is addicted to the small hits of dopamine that come from buying new things. You might feel a sense of loss or a fear of missing out. But by the third month, something incredible happens. You start to see your bank account grow, and for the first time in years, you feel like you can breathe. You realize that the things you thought you needed were actually just anchors holding you back. You start to value your time more than your possessions. The Buy Nothing Rebellion is about choosing freedom over stuff. It is about understanding that your money is a tool to build a life, not a way to entertain yourself. As we move further into 2026, the world will likely become even more expensive and more complicated. But you do not have to be a victim of that complexity. You can choose to step off the hamster wheel. You can choose to be the one who owns their life, rather than the one who is owned by their bills. Your future self is counting on you to make these wise decisions today. The version of you 20 years from now does not care what car you drove today. They care that you saved enough to live with dignity and independence. They care that you chose peace of mind over a fleeting sense of status. Start today by saying no to just one of these categories. Watch how quickly your perspective shifts when you stop being a consumer and start being a producer of your own freedom. You have the wisdom and the strength to reclaim your financial future. It is time to start your own rebellion. Thank you for listening, and I hope this helps you find the peace you deserve. Make sure to take care of yourself and your future. I will see you in the next one.